Hi, I'm Willie Macc. I'm an actor, investor, and speaker. I'm making this film today because when I first moved out here to LA, I got caught up in so many tricks and schemes that I was like, if I ever got to the point where I can give back just some knowledgeable information, I am going to do that. First, let me answer this question. Why should you watch me? I have been in Hollywood for 13 years now. I have been on the reality side where I had a reality show back on BET called College Hill. I've been in multiple commercials, Residence Inn, Kia, Domino's, Subway. Those are just to name a few. I'll even show you some of them in just a second. And I've also made it all the way out to New Zealand and Australia where I was the face of a brand called Pump Water. And I've made a nice amount of money in this industry. I've lost a lot. I even became homeless, and I've regained it. I was listening to a speaker, and he made a comment of the interviewer was talking to him. And they was like, so, Bill, how did you become so successful? Because he was a wealthy guy. And he's like, through all of my great decisions. And the interviewer was like, so how'd you come up on these great decisions? And the guy said, through my experiences. And he's like, how'd you get all this experience, Bill? And Bill said, through all my bad experiences. And so from there, he's made a living off of traveling, telling people his bad experiences so people don't make the same. And like I said, I'm making this because I said if I could ever give back, I am going to do it. So let's start off with that. I'm originally from St. Louis. I moved out here 13 years ago. And when I first came out here, I knew nothing about the industry. I had an idea of what the industry was. I was like, oh, I want to be on TV. I want to be a movie star. And I was like, Hollywood is the place to go. So I came out here. And moving to LA has been one of the most beautiful things in my life. But it's also been some of the scariest, saddest, happiest. It's a roller coaster of emotions. So I want to talk to you all about all these emotions that I've had, some of the things that happened to me, so you all don't make the same mistake. When I first came out here, I was looking for an agent. And where else do you find a good agent in Los Angeles? Craigslist, right? Sarcasm. That's a lie. But that's what I did. I was looking in Craigslist and I found this ad looking for actors and models. So I found it and I went to the open call. The dude was looking at me, he's like, oh man, you are amazing. You're exactly what we were looking for. And I'm thinking, yeah, he did a great job of boosting my head. And he told me, for $300, I will represent you. I was like, perfect, $300 isn't nothing. I gave him all the little money that I saved up, a lot of it, and he started representing me. And for months, I did not go on any auditions or book anything. He's like, it's because of your headshots. And I was like, oh, well, I don't have any. He's like, exactly. You need to get some headshots. So he referred me to this photographer. And for $450, he had one shot of me, black and white. Now, if anybody knows, we should at least know no one ever does black and white headshots. But this was an agent. He was in Hollywood. He was right there on Hollywood Boulevard. He couldn't be lying. So I went to the place. I got these black and white headshots. I'm going to show them to you. They were awful. You saw them. Awful headshots. And I submitted these out anyways because that's what I thought everybody was looking for. I didn't know anything. Luckily, after like a month of submitting to like other agents and managers, one of them had the guts to hit me back and said, you must not be from here. No one uses black and white headshots anymore. And I was like, what? This is a lie. And I did my research. They stopped using black and white headshots almost 20 years ago. But what did I know? I was from St. Louis. I fell into the scheme of things. So the first thing I want you to do is there's a bookstore. I'm not getting paid for any of these names that I'm putting out there or anything like that. But I want you all to know, these are the things that I wish someone would have taken the time out and told me about. My first 2 years in LA could have been so much different. It could have saved me so much money and heartache. So I find this agency book. It's at this bookstore called Samuel French Bookstore. If you don't know about it, look it up online. They also have online books, but they have a book at the time called The Right Agency Book. I forget what it's called now. I'll put a post on there, or I'll put like a picture of the book on there now. And in this book, it listed all the legit agencies and casting directors in Los Angeles. That's how I found my first agent. The first thing you want to do is keep your focus out here. There's so many fake producers and fake directors that probably only directed something on their iPhone, but they can come to you and be like, hey, I've directed some projects, I produced something. Just because they put money towards somebody's GoFundMe doesn't make them a producer. I have actual producer's credit, and I will show these to you. So with that being said, I found me an agent, and I went on these jobs, and on Craigslist, I found my next gig, which was a show. It never aired, but I met a lot of great people on here. It was called So You Want to Date My Sister. It was executive produced by a great friend of mine. His name was Michael McCorm. And so we do this shoot, and I meet some people, and it was $500 cash. And I told a bunch of jokes, was really silly, had my hair looking a hot mess. I'll show you how my hair used to look. My hair used to be so big, 1970 style. And so I do it. I do a great job. And he tells me, he's like, hey, we're producing this show called College Hill on BT. If you're interested in it, if you can go in there and make my sister laugh, you're pretty much in for the shoot. And I'm looking at him like, who's your sister? He's like, oh, my sister's Tracy Edmonds. And in my head, I'm like, ooh, Babyface wife. Like, that's big time. So I go there, audition, and I booked it. The Virgin Islands was one of the most coolest and most awesome experiences I've ever had. I mean, 3 months, all expense paid for. You're about to be on TV, millions of viewers. And our season of College Hill was so awesome and so good that it started playing on MTV. Like other networks was picking it up. We was at the Reality Show Awards and all this other good stuff. So it was a beautiful show. Loved it. Amazing. No complaints. The only thing is, you're on TV now. You're pretty much the face of black people on TV. BET. It's College Hill. It's the Virgin Islands. Hottest season ever. You're starting to meet celebrities and hanging out at these parties. But the problem was, we did not get paid to be on that show. So outside these Hollywood parties, we would go work a regular 9 to 5. We would go there and hustle. I tell this story a lot, and I think it's kind of funny now. At the time, it wasn't. I remember it was 2007. I was at the BET Awards. It was an amazing show. And I'm leaving out, and I see Nelly. At this time, Nelly was dating Ashanti, and he's like, hey, Willie, what's up with you, man? I'm like, hey, what's up, boss? We talking, chopping it up a little bit. He's like, hey, we're about to go to this party up in Hollywood. You down? I'm like, yeah, I'll meet y'all there. Cool. Everybody leaves. I left the BET Awards at the Shrine Auditorium or Shrine Theater, walked down and catch the bus to catch the train to Hollywood because I didn't have a car. I had no money. I was living in an apartment with my cousin, 1 bedroom, but I had to live this life. I had to do this whole fake it till you make it scenario because I never wanted anybody to know the truth. I had to take a bus to go hang out with celebrities that invited me who knew who I was. But I didn't care. That's the lifestyle and the lie that I was living. So eventually I ended up meeting this lady. She told me when she broke up with me that she missed dating ballers. That's what she said. She said she missed dating ballers, and a couple weeks later, she broke up with me. I was devastated. So from that experience, I ended up wanting to shoot sketches. I had to do something to become creative. And it's funny because I tell this story to a lot of people, and they're like, how'd you learn to edit? Where did you go to school? And I didn't go to school for it. I learned this on my own. I had to learn it on my own. One of the things that I like to push out there is the fact that it's not impossible because I'm possible. I've even built a whole, as you see, I built a clothing line based off of it. Because it's something that I had to push and I had to preach because I'm out here. I had no money. I was working a 9 to 5. I had no car. And And I wanted to get things done, and I was depending on other people to do it. Like I had these sketch ideas, and I was asking these editors and people with cameras to film my sketches and edit my sketches, and they would take months for a 3-minute sketch. They're like, oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I got to do all this other stuff that's paying first. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to edit myself. Chris Rock told this story. I saw that it was on YouTube, and I'm going to tell it to you all. And it's great for the people that's out there like that's waiting for someone to help them. He's like, when you driving by and you see somebody broken down on the side of the freeway and they're waving at you like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? No one ever stops for them. If they do stop, it's very rare. But now if you're driving down the road and you see this person pushing this car down the road, struggling with it, people tend to get out and help. They will stop going wherever they were going to get out and help that person. No one's ever going to help you unless you help yourself first. And I had to remember that. So I went out and I started watching, and I humor myself and tell people that I went to YouTube College and Google University. That's where I went. YouTube College and Google University. I started on a flip camera and iMovie. And from there, after I got good at it, I progressed into getting a Canon camera and learning Premiere. And I got good at that, and people started paying me to edit and shoot for them. So I started to make my living by doing some of that stuff. And it came out pretty good. It was amazing. Until it wasn't. All these other cameras became more affordable. Everybody started shooting their own, editing their own, and I ran out of money. Eventually, my whole life changes. At the time, I was living with my brother. We was living together. We had a 2-bedroom apartment out there in North Hollywood. And my cousin decides to live with us. Well, we decided for him. He was like, hey, come live with us, because he didn't have any place to go. After about a few months turned into a year, he was sleeping in the living room for free, no expense paid. We was taking care of family. Which leads me to my next point. Just because you're blood doesn't make you family. There are people and friends that sit there and call each other brother and sister and cousin, and they closer to some people that's related to you. And I had to learn this the hard way. I sat there and I invited him into our home, and my brother was like, I'm moving back to St. Louis, so I threw him a going away party. And at this going away party, I cook all this food, I barbecue. Before we do, I tell everybody that was there at the party, I'm like, hey, let's go to Hollywood. Let's go live it up. Let's kick it. We do that. We come back, and my cousin, who was high and drunk at the time, took a bite out of every single piece of the food. And I confront him like, DJ, why'd you eat up all the food, man? Like, now we don't have anything to eat. He's like, man, chill out, chill out. I'm like, there's nothing to really chill out about because we're hungry. You took a bite out of each piece of the food and put it right back. He's like, why are you acting up in front of all these B's and H's? And all the women were starting to like, hey, who you calling a B? Who you calling an H? And they wilding out. And I'm like, DJ, chill out. Boom, socks me. Socks me in my mouth. I lose my teeth to my favorite cousin, the person that I would never think would ever do this to me, but it happened. And during that time, I went through a complete depression. This depression took so much out of me. I'm talking about I would just break down and cry out the blue. Because this is Hollywood. This is what I wanted to be in. And for me to lose my smile at the time, at least what I thought was my smile, everything was over for me. Everything was done. Do you know what it's like to smile and have a lisp like this the entire time? I had to retrain myself to talk. Because when he hit me, not only did he knock out some of my teeth, he broke off a piece of my jaw. My favorite cousin. I had to learn the hard way. But I stayed out here. I was going to go home. One of those tearful nights, I was like, you know what? This is it. I don't even want to be out here anymore. I'm tired of faking the funk. I'm not making any progress in my life. God, give me a sign. God gave me a sign. I booked this huge commercial campaign all the way down in the land under. They flew me to Australia. for a week, filmed maybe like 6 spots. They ended up making a video game out of me, and I was on all the billboards and posters. And I'm like, I'm back. This is it. It might not be LA, but I made a name for myself. And they gave me a nice chunk of money. And I blew through the money. Because in my head, all this money was going to come back. I had these commercial campaigns going. I'm going to make some more money. I figured out the formula. And then I went on a 2-year decline where I didn't make anything. Me and the girl that I was dating at the time, we broke up, moved out. And I ended up losing my money. Unemployment ran out. I had no car, and I became homeless. I ended up having to humble myself and say, God, all right, I learned my lesson. What do you want me to do? But God's like, I don't think you're humbled enough. And at this time, someone had a 1-bedroom, had someone already sleeping in the living room, and offered me a spot on the floor. They were like, we don't have any room for you, but you can sleep on the floor. And that's what I had to take. And I tell people sometimes, with my teeth, my cousin also knocked out pride, ego. He humbled me. And I needed that. But I wasn't humbled enough. I had to lose my teeth. I had to lose my money, my place, everything. God is like, it's like, picture building some Legos. You build up this beautiful thing, and it's like, ta-da! God's like, nah, I don't like it. Knocked off some of it, and it's like, well, let me just rebuild what I did because God knocked this off. He must have messed up. So God's like, oh, that's what we're doing? Ugh. Knock the whole thing over, start from scratch, build something else. And my friend offered me a job at his production company in Burbank. And at this production company, he's like, hey, Willie, I got you an interview. Are you okay to come? I'm like, man, I'm there. So I rode my bike there. And I'm there at the interview. I know how to interview. I do a pretty good job at interviewing. Just, show the smile, fix your glasses up, son. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah. No, that's good. I can do that. And that's what I did. I told them everything they wanted to hear. Then they asked me the question. They're like, hey, you're amazing. You do know how to work on Avid, right? Yeah. I know how to work on Avid. Truthfully, I never touched Avid a day in my life. I heard of Avid, but Avid was completely different. Everything I knew about editing, I had to start from scratch learning Avid. And I told them yes. Rode my bike home, which was 3.5 hours. I had to catch the 796 to the red line, to the blue line, to the green line, and ride my bike a mile right back to where I was staying at the time. But that's what I had to do because I wanted it that bad. They told me that they want me to start, and I was like, you know what? Just to prove to you all how good I am, let me work here 3 weeks for free. They were like, dude, you're amazing. Yes, come in, work for free. The only reason I was working for free is because I needed hands-on experience. I never touched Avid. I signed up for lynda.com and I went back to YouTube College and Google University and I faked the funk till I learned Avid myself. And here's how hard and impressive it is to learn Avid. So when I was quitting my job, I was training a new AE on all how the place works and blah, blah, blah. And we had a casual conversation. And he was like, hey, Willie, what school did you go to? And I was like, oh, I went to Cal State. And he was like, oh, cool. I went to USC. He's like, is that where you learned to edit? I was like, no, I got my degree in international business. He's like, oh, so what school did you go to learn editing? I was like, oh, I didn't go to school for it. I learned it on lynda.com, Google University, and YouTube College. And for a week straight, he was like, what? Every time he saw me, I can't believe you learned this. I went to school for it. There are people that's going to school for 4 years to learn just editing and the whole production work of it. Now, I'm not taking away from going to school at all, because I wish I did. I got my degree in international business and marketing because I thought I was going to be a marketeer, and I thought I was going to end up going back to school to be a lawyer and do international stuff, but I didn't. I wish I went to school for, because there's some technical things that I wish I knew, just verbiage and stuff like that. Like people would say, hey, Willie, you know how to do X, Y, Z? And I'd be like, what do you mean? And they'd be like, oh, just X, Y, Z. I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to do all that, and I'll do it. But the technical stuff I did not know. I pushed myself in the mindset of it's not impossible because I'm possible. Once you start to understand that, you'll understand how powerful you really are. And while I'm at this job, I had to sneak out on auditions, and then I found out I'm like, I can't really sneak out because I'm going way too long on my lunch breaks. I didn't want to get in trouble, so I told them, like, look, is it cool if I go on an audition every once in a while? There was times I was turning down auditions because it was too much time away. Eventually, I went on this audition for something all the way out in Santa Monica. My job was in Burbank. It was in the afternoon. And if you know anything about LA, LA has the worst traffic ever. Awful traffic. And I'm talking about, to go, that 30 miles probably took me an hour and a half. 30 miles. And so I'm headed there, and my agent calls like, yeah, you have another audition over in Studio City. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, I'm already like 2 hours late from lunch. I'm like, I'm going to skip out on it. But as I was driving past the place that I was needing to go to the audition for, something hit me and was like, Willie, turn back around and go to the audition. You did not come out here to work a 9 to 5 the rest of your life. And one of the things that I tell people is we are always one yes away. We are one yes away from the most life-changing experience ever. One day you can be a waiter, go on an audition, yes, all of a sudden you have a TV show. When you sit there and hear the stories of Brad Pitt, back when he first moved out here, how he was the El Pollo Loco chicken mascot on the corner of La Brea and Sunset, and now do we need to talk about who Brad Pitt is? You hear so many of these stories. We're all one yes away. I have friends that were like that. One day they're working at this restaurant. The next day they're in season 3 of this show. One yes away. I turn back around and I go to that audition. This audition was Residence Inn. Now, if you don't understand how powerful and how awesome Residence Inn is the commercial that completely changed my life. Residence Inn brought me in more money than I have ever made while I was out here. That was my one yes. God said, you better turn your tail around and go to this audition because I have something set up for you. And I think about it and how crazy it is that I almost didn't go. I almost didn't go to the opportunity that was life-changing for me. Hundreds of thousands of dollars was at stake right now. So with that being said, I end up going to the audition. Now, of course, like I said, I booked it. I'll probably throw some of the Residence Inn commercials on here. And from there, I end up booking Domino's. I end up booking Kia. I end up booking PayPal. I end up booking Applebee's. And I made a lot of money. Now what do? Last time I had what I thought was a lot of money, I blew it. God, what do you want me to do with this money? What do you want me to do? Because I don't want to go down the same road I went before. So I talked to my brother and I started reading books. And not just any books. I started reading self-help books. I started reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I started reading The Richest Man in Babylon, where I was learning money management, and you put 10% away to giving. You put another 10% away to build your fortune. You put 20% towards your bills and paying down stuff. And that's exactly what I did. 2 years ago, 2 years ago, my credit score was a 540. Let me explain to you how bad having a 540 credit score is. At 540, I went to try to get a secured credit card. A secured credit card is when you have to give $300 or however much, and they give you that in limit. So if I gave them $300, they give me a $300 credit card. And after a year, they give you the $300 back because you built your trust. I was denied a secured credit card from 3 banks. That's how bad my credit score was. That's how bad everything was. So all this money that I started bringing in, I said, all right, let me be smart. Because at first I would run away from the bill collectors. I changed my numbers so many times, I can't even tell you what they are. And it was such a good feeling when I was able to pick up these bill collectors' phone calls. They call me. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Hey, you have a bill. How much? Paid it off. I'm not going to sit here and say I paid off all my bills. I paid off most of them, and I set up plans to pay off the rest. Now my credit score is not an 800, but it's like mid-700s. I think it's like a 750 last I checked. It's gone up over 200 points. If you need a great place to go, I went through Lexington Law. They took off a lot of the craziness that was on my credit report. They fixed it up really good. I'm not going to sit here and say that they did the most amazing job ever because they were a little slow, but I stayed with it because I had a plan. I had a purpose. I wanted to get my stuff together because eventually I'm going to need an apartment. I'm going to need a house. I want a car. At this time, I still didn't have any of this because my credit wouldn't allow me to. Isn't that crazy? Eventually, I ended up getting a car, and my credit score was still low at this time. It was probably like 580 as it was slightly climbing. And the car company gave me an APR of 20%. Let me explain to you how bad 20% APR is. My car payment was $350 a month. I believe this is my math being off, but it was like $80 went towards the car. The rest of it went to interest into the bank. That's how bad that is. It was like I wasn't paying off anything. It was such a mess, and I was like, no, I'm gonna get my credit together. This is what happens when you make these bad decisions, Willie. With your bad decisions comes experience, and with your experience comes good decisions. You're right now in the experience stage. So as I mentioned before, I started talking to my brother. My brother's a very smart person with money. So I'm like, John, what do I do with this money that I have? So he told me about the process of buying foreclosed homes and putting the money into the foreclosed homes and then flipping them or renting them out. So I did it. I put my money towards a foreclosed property, and then St. Louis is so cheap. Let me explain to you the difference between St. Louis and Los Angeles. Los Angeles, even in Compton, Watts, and some of the areas that they tell you is so awful, the house will still cost you around $300,000-$400,000 for a 2-3 bedroom home with barely any backyard. Where in St. Louis, for a foreclosed property, the first one that I had was like $7,000 foreclosed, put another $4,500 in, cleaned it up, rented it out, and then sold it. That's how much more money is in this real estate game. And I made a nice lump sum of the money on that. And then me and my brother went and got another house, and then we're looking at more homes because we're building up our portfolio because I needed to make my money make money. I wanted my money to have grandkids, which means my money parents, I have dreams now. I understood what I was doing wrong. So one of the other things that I want to let you know is build a circle. Not just build any circle, build a circle of experience. Because what I'm about to tell you next is what changed my life. At first, when I first got into some of this money, people who needed money, I was loaning it out because I'm like, hey, man, I got it. At this time, I was probably bringing in, let's humor, $15,000 to $20,000 a month. $15,000 to $20,000 a month. So I'm like, this is going to come forever. Then I started reading books, and I started understanding the knowledge and the power of saying no, because before I was saying yes, I was watching my bank account dwindle. You mean I could have more money if I say no? But these were friends. These were family members that really needed it. But I had to tell myself, eventually, if I didn't have the money, where would they go? They were going to find the money one way or another. Why did it have to come from me? So I was like, no. Did I lose a couple friendships over it? Yes, I did. It's fine because I have more money in my pocket now. So I end up having to say no to all these people so I can be able to say yes to people that could possibly make me more money. There's a friend who's also a really great chef. And he was like, hey, Willie, would you like to invest in my cooking company? So I ended up loaning him some money and bringing in the money that I loaned him plus some. I end up loaning some friends that was trying to get into production. They was like, hey, and I made them give me business plans. If you don't have the time to give me a business plan, then you really don't need the money. You're not going to just sit here and ask me for $5,000 to $10,000. And I'm like, what's your plan? I'm going to just work. I'm like, all right, write it out and show me how you're going to pay me back. That's what I had to do to people. All right, write me out a business plan and write me out how you're going to pay me back and let's sign it. We're going to make this a business deal, but we're friends. I know we're friends. That's why I'm writing this out. I'm not asking for a credit check because if we went through credit checks, half the people that I loaned money to probably wouldn't even get it. Because obviously you came to me because maybe you went to a bank or you went somewhere else and they was like, denied, no, nowhere else to go. So if you're going to come to me, this is how we're going to do it. And if not, what do I lose? You mean I get to keep more money in my bank account by not signing something with you? All right, cool. I don't need it. So I had to do it that way. And me and my brother started talking more and we started getting people like interested in us, the Mac boys. It was a hard road. It's a painful road. It was a sad road. A lot of tears before I even got to this point to even talk to you. I'm far from where I want to be, but I'm far from where I was. And I want to talk to you today about not giving up. If I would have gave up on those auditions, I would not be here talking to you. You would care less who I was trying to tell you what to do with your money, how to be in this industry. Don't give up. Never give up. There's a story that I heard that I want to regurgitate back to you. There's a very amazing story about not giving up. So there was this farmer down in Texas. He had all these acres of land. And this oil company comes to him like, hey, is it cool if we drill on your land? At this time, the farmer had no money. He was already about to get rid of the farm and sell it so he can have some money for himself. And the farmer tells the oil company, you can go ahead and drill there, but you're not going to find anything. The land is not fertile. It's awful land. It's whatever. You can go ahead and drill. So the oil company drills inside that land, and for weeks they found nothing. And the farmer goes out there, I told you, nothing's out there. Nothing's in that land. They kept drilling. They kept drilling. Boom, they struck oil. The farmer ends up becoming a multi-gazillionaire, made all this money. And it's crazy because people be like, oh man, that's amazing. He became a millionaire. And it's like, no, he's always been a millionaire. He just had to drill and get there. And that's what I feel like a lot of us need to hear. Us as actors, you as actors or entertainers or people that just sitting there just need to hear some type of uplifting story. Sometimes we want to give up. We want to say it's done, it's over with, we out of here. And sometimes it takes a little bit more drilling. Even when it feels like there's nowhere else to drill, keep going. Because deep down, there's a millionaire inside of you. There's a billionaire inside of you. That idea, hold on to that idea. If you don't know how to make that idea work into fruition right now, hold on to it until you can. They say there's trillions of dollars in the grave. Trillions of dollars of ideas of people that wanted to do X, Y, Z, but never did it because they felt like, I just gave up. I'm done. I'm over it. Trillions. If I would have gave up, I would not be here talking to you and you would not care about anything that I'm saying. And I'm not saying if you get on to some money, don't splurge. I did. I bought some suits. And not only did I buy some suits, you can't just have nice suits and not have a nice watch. End up buying a nice watch. I bought me a Movado. I went to the Movado place. I'm like, what's the most expensive Movado? Because I love Movados. Got it. And with a Movado and nice suits, you can't just, that'd be it. But yeah, I went and bought me some Gucci shoes, some nice Gucci dress loafers. Yeah, I did that. But I did that as a treat to myself later on, after I paid off bills and started my investment portfolio. Also, you all need to invest into IRAs. Because just because you have this money now, I can have this lump of money for right now, and in a few years, it could all disappear. I could sit here with all this money in the bank and just live off of it. If it's not in your bank account, you will never miss it. So I put some of my money into IRAs. I max out the IRAs. I opened up a stock portfolio. I talked to some people. Yeah, it cost me a little bit of money, but this is what I wanted to do. This is what I had to do. Because I was never going to be broke again. I was never going to be sleeping on somebody else's floor again. I promise you that. That's not how I want it to be. And it's so crazy that God had these plans for me and I was about to ignore them. I was about to go back home to St. Louis. Next thing I encourage you to do is to start giving back. When you start giving back, you receive so much more. When you extend your arms out to give, you're already in position to receive. The people that's holding on to whatever it is, their money, their time, their efforts, they're not in position to receive. It's the craziest thing because I'll tell people, I don't care what you believe in, I believe in God. I believe in paying my tithes. But I also believe in giving my time. I haven't always been like that. I'll sit there sometimes and I'll be like, does God really need this money? God be okay with this one. God be okay with this check. But let me keep these checks over here. Because when you're starting to give $20,000 a month in your head, you can easily slip and think, 20,000, 10% of 20,000, that's 2 G's. Does God really need 2 G's? God got trillions and gazillions of dollars. He good this time. But it wasn't about me. It wasn't about that. I had to understand that I'm not giving to God. I'm returning to God. When you understand that you're returning time, when you're returning money that was never necessarily meant for you, yeah, you got it, you earned it, you worked hard for it, I get it. But what if you didn't get that check? Then what? You have nothing to give. You wouldn't even trip that you didn't have the money. So when I had to give that mind, when I put my efforts toward that mindset, so much more stuff started coming my way. There's a time where my brother called me and my dad's church needed X amount of money to finish the building. And I thought about it. I was like, God, should I give this money to him? I have it. I don't really need it right now or whatever. And the next day I was like, you know what? Returning. Here, God, there's the check. My commercials wasn't running. I didn't have any real money coming in. Like I was getting little residuals here and there, but things started to die down. And then like literally 2 weeks later, my commercials start airing again. My Kia commercials start airing again and my Residence Inn commercials start airing again. And like literally the next week, I end up getting like $10,000. Off my initial investment, with more to come along the way. And then I started giving my time and I started donating to families, sponsoring families to go to these winter programs and all this other good stuff. And then later on I find out from some friends that are the castmates from the Residence Inn commercial, they were like, hey, Willie, did you get the good news? We're in negotiations for an extra 21 months. If you don't understand what a negotiation is for an extra 21 months, that's pretty much life-changing if you're smart with the money. That's almost double what I was already getting for another 21 months. That's what's on the table. Isn't God good? And it never ceases to amaze me. So I want you all to start giving back. I'm not going to say I guarantee this is going to happen. There are no guarantees. But I guarantee you will feel better. When you sit there and you give to someone that's needy, that feeling that you have, that feeling that you receive is so amazing. When you're handing out the food or you're volunteering your time to people that need it, that want it, that deserve it, you will understand how much you've had in life already. Be thankful for what you already have. Even if you have nothing, be thankful for nothing. Watch your friends. Watch the people that you hang around. I had this dream once where it was me and a friend. We were in a village, and we were starving in this village. And we would ask people for food, and nobody wanted to give us any food. And it was this big, beautiful fruit tree with all these beautiful red hanging fruits. So I go to reach for one of the fruit, and my friend's like, Willie, no, the fruit's poisonous. Everybody knows that. So I was like, oh no, walked away. Day 2 comes by. I'm even more hungry, and no one's giving us food, and I go to reach for the fruit. Willie, no, fruit's poisonous. I'm like, all right, man, my bad. I'm just hungry. And walk away. 3rd day comes. I go for the fruit. And he's like, Willie, no. I'm like, look, man, stop hitting my hand, first of all. And second of all, I'm starving now. I'm starving to death, and it hurts. I'd rather die and be full. So I take a bite, and I scrunch my eyes, and I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die, but I was so full. But I didn't die. So I eat more of this fruit, and I find out that the fruit was never poison. It was my friend. Beware of the advice you get from other people. Everybody might not have bad intentions, but bad intentions may come. I've got bad advice from plenty of people. When I was telling people I was coming to LA, for example, people was like, LA? Man, what you mean you going to LA? You better stay here. Let her go by herself. St. Louis is where you need to be. I was like, all right, you're probably right, man. Now, maybe a couple months later, hey, you know what? I'm going to LA, man. That's what I'm doing. What you going to LA for? You remember what happened at Model Search America? I'm going to tell you all. I did Model Search America back in St. Louis. I paid $1,500 because at the time I thought I was a model. Now I know I'm just a handsome guy. I ended up going to Model Search America. It was all the way in Kansas City. My dad ended up driving me. It was 4 hours. I saved up $1,500 from my job, and I went there. And in this auditorium of people, there was probably 500-600 people at Model Search America. All of them paid $1,500 to go. And it was a 3-day event. First day, you go there. They show you how to model, walk the walk, smile. You get to the end of the stage, you pose, walk away. That was day number 1. Day number 2, they had all the big agencies in New York and LA and Chicago there to scout for you. So day 2, you go up, you walk the path, you get off. You hold a number, show them who you are, because you're nothing but a number to them. They can care less about your name. You show them the number, you get off, you sit there. To all 500-600 people got off stage, and they only asked for maybe 40 to 50 people to stay. Day 3, I was depressed. I went home. Really, you remember what happened at Model Search America? Stay here in St. Louis, get your education, go to a community college. And I had to go to a community college because I graduated with a 1.9 GPA. I was not meant to be a smart person. I wasn't meant to be all this other stuff that's what I thought. My grades showed me as a dummy. So I lived my life as I was dumb. I gave myself what I deserved. At least what I thought I deserved. And eventually I was like, no, I'm going to LA. They're like, no. I was like, I'm gone. Now look at me. Here talking to you on my nice camera with my lighting and my background. I bought this. I did all of this. I would never have got this if I would have listened to those people in St. Louis that told me to stay. I never would have got this if I would have never gone to that audition. If I never would have got on that bus and that train and that bike to that job. I would not be here where I am today, selling and making t-shirts. The amount of money that I make now is ridiculous, and I deserve it. I don't care what anybody else tells me. I worked hard for this. I could lose everything, and to know that tomorrow I can make it up again is amazing. It's so amazing that this country, this opportunities that I have, to lose everything and to be able to make it again, it's amazing. Here's how you need to think about it when you're having bad times. Let's say you're a farmer. There's 2 farmers. You go out there, you till the land, you plant your seeds, months pass, you start to see the stuff grow, and then a tornado comes and it can rip everything apart. All the time, money that you spent could be gone. Farmer A is like, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm done. I'm going to find a 9-to-5. Farmer B sits there and says, tornadoes don't happen all the time. I'm going to try this again. Goes back out, till the farm, plant the seed. Next year, it grows beautifully, reaps its harvest. You have to understand, things happen in your life are just seasons. Things that happen in your life will not always last unless you let it last. I don't believe in I can't, I won't. It's not impossible because who's possible? You, me. I'm possible. I want you to say it. Say it with me. It's not impossible because I'm possible. I'm not impossible because I'm possible. I'm not impossible. It's not impossible because I'm possible. Exactly. That's what I want to push on you all today. Do not give up on your dreams. It's going to be rough. It's going to have some ups. It's going to have some downs. I still take acting classes. So I've had people ask me, why are you still in commercial classes? You're the commercial king right now. You don't go to the gym, and once you see that you get all ripped up, you just stop going. No, you need to tone up. That's what I'm doing. I'm toning up. Nothing's guaranteed in this industry. How many celebrities do you know used to be huge back in the day that aren't now? Maybe they need to get their teeth knocked out so some of their pride and their ego can go with it. Whatever the reason is, you need to stay toned up. Find your fruit, whatever your fruit is, go for it, grab it, eat it. Whether your fruit is modeling, don't let no one tell you that you're not a model. If you're an actor, go for that fruit, eat the acting fruit. It's amazing, by the way. I love it. It's a little sweet, a little tangy. Got some seeds in the middle, but that's so that you can grow your own. Don't let anybody tell you that it's too late, that you can't do it. I'm going to show you this picture. I saw this picture the other day. This man was overweight at the age of 70 before he decided that he wanted to get in shape, and is probably in better shape than most people that you know that's in their 20s and 30s. It's not too late. I hear these stories of older people who go back to high school to get their diploma. People in their 60s, 70s, 80s. They even showed one, I believe, that was in their 90s. I'll look it up and I'll show you the pictures. Getting that high school diploma, it's not too late. If you're in your 30s, come out here. 40s, out here. Whatever your dream is, go there. That business opportunity that you want, it's for you. It's wide open. No one can tell you that you can't do it. And one of the good things to know is if it's been done before, it can be done again. You can do it. If you go on YouTube, you can learn how to cook. You can learn how to get into a relationship, get out of a relationship. You can learn law, math, learn how to edit video, photography. There's everything on YouTube. Someone's giving you information for free. You don't even have to go to school for it. It's been done. People are laying out pathways for you. It's all about the will to do it. You have to want to do it. Someone's giving you all the information. Here you go. Just do what I did, and you can make this money as well. If I would have sat here 70 years ago and looking at the moon with you, I'm like, hey, one day there's going to be a man on the moon. You're going to be looking at me like, Willie, you're crazy. Get out of here. Willie done lost his mind. But now look at it. There's a person on the moon. We're on Mars mission. Someone's laid out the foundation for us. People at NASA, if you study the right things, you can learn how to get someone on Jupiter. They're figuring this technology out now. Isn't that amazing? And the people that I'm talking to, especially the people that's in like middle school and high school right now, you all are the next generation of. You all are the next generations of teachers, learners, people that we need in our lives. Before there was GPS, people were sitting here on maps, looking up Thomas guide. Even after that, I remember I would print out on MapQuest directions how to get to point A to point B. If I got lost or there was a detour, which they did not tell you on MapQuest, I would have to make a phone call to somebody that's on the internet. Like, hey, you on the internet? Is there a way you can tell me how to get to X, Y, Z? Before that, like I said, there was maps. Before that, there was people telling people, hey, follow the North Star and you'll be there. How is your direction only a North Star? Even 100 years ago, if I were to tell you this little round disc is going to hold 10 hours worth of music, you look at me like I'm crazy. I still get amazed by how a CD works. Let's even go back before that, a record. The first person to put music on a record. You know how amazing that is for someone to sit there and understand that they can catch vibrations and sounds and put it on a piece of plastic to play? I know he was telling his friends, like, hey, I figured out how to catch her sound and put it on this piece of plastic. His friends probably, if you don't get your, are you crazy? Do we need to tell someone about you? Are you safe? That's how crazy this industry is. That's how crazy everything is. And the best thing about it, you're the next generation of. The person that might find cancer, that might find a cure to AIDS. To build the first self-driving car that doesn't have the big old thing on the top of it that look like a scary spaceship. One of you all are next to figure that out. And it's not going to be impossible because who's possible? Yes, you're possible. This is amazing. I'm about to get out of here. I'm Willie Macc. I hope to be speaking at one of your schools, events, organizations soon because I have so many stories to tell you and I'm just excited right now. I'm just super giddy. All right, y'all, I'm Willie Macc. And remember, it's not impossible because I'm possible. You're possible. I'm out.